Hey guys, welcome to the Cinema Corral. This is the segment on my YouTube channel that is now actually going to be where I do all of my main movie reviews. I haven't really been seeing the traction I've been wanting to see just doing them individually, and I have other projects that I really want to work on for this channel that don't really include me being in front of a camera talking about a movie, so I'm going to treat this more like a podcast instead of just a place where I would play catch up with movie reviews. So from now on, all my movie reviews are going to be in this format. I got some video essays that I want to do. I want to do some more Silver Screen Academy stuff, and I feel like I'm just spending too much time doing movie reviews. I feel like I'm just a drop of water in an ocean at this point. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the movies that were released for the weekend of April 5th, 2019. The movies that came to my theater were The Best of Enemies, Shazam, and Pet Sematary. So let's start with Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary is the remake/adaptation of Stephen King's novel Pet Sematary, and it kinda sucks a lot. It's just boring, uninteresting, slow, it's not scary, the acting's all over the place. Jason Clarke plays Jason Clarke, basically. They change a bit in this movie, but it's not really a change that's particularly good, and they do spoil it in the trailers, which is kinda lame. The cinematography and editing is perfunctory, the music is just kinda bland, the pacing is just so incredibly off. I have not seen the original, I have not read the book, and I do kind of want to read the book because I hear that it is very good. From what I've heard, it's one of Stephen King's best novels. And from what I've gathered, the main theme of that book is about grief and the lengths that a person will go to because of grief. And we don't really spend a lot of time delving into the characters enough to really feel like their actions are warranted. They just kind of do it because the plot demands it. And because they don't spend the time developing the characters, their actions just seem stupid. You got John Lithgow in the role of Judd. He's okay, gentle. It's all over the place. The kid is not particularly good. It gets into really dumb horror territory near the very end, like that third act. The scenes where they go beyond the barrier, past the Pet Sematary, it's very obviously green screened. For a film that did a really good job with the gore on the college student that died, they sure do shy away from showing anything really graphic beyond that. Maybe a little bit more near the end, but it's a stupid ending. Then it ends with a really bad cover of the Ramones' Pet Sematary. Can't really recommend it. I didn't really have a good time watching it. I'm just gonna give it a D. So next up we got The Best of Enemies, and I didn't think that I could see another film as ideologically warped as Green Book, but then this film came out, and I stand corrected. This movie is written and directed by Robin Bissell, I don't know. Long story short, it's a white guy writing and directing a story about a black activist and the leader of a section of the Ku Klux Klan fighting over integration for schools. And yeah, this movie can bite me. It's not very good. Sam Rockwell's pretty good, but he just kind of seems to play the same characters lately. I liked him as George W. Bush in Vice, but you know, he just kind of plays that same character. Taraji P. Henson just kind of seems to be overacting in this movie. And normally I like her, but she just seemed a little bit over the top in this thing. And for a movie that's supposed to be, condemning the actions of the KKK and white supremacists, they sure do spend a lot of time trying to get the audience to sympathize with the white supremacist Klan leader. And I get that the character of CPL is supposed to have this big, character arc where he goes from being hardcore racist to a friend of Ann Atwater. This is based on a true story, by the way. I just think that it's kind of lame, and there are better ways to do that without spending so much time trying to get me to sympathize with him. It just feels really heavy-handed and manipulative, and it just kind of reeks of Trump really kind of refusing to denounce the white supremacists, saying that there are fine people on both sides, and that's just unacceptable to me because nobody should really be defending white supremacists, and that's basically what this movie feels like. And what's even more troubling is this film's approach to ending racism. It basically comes down to the oppressed just being nicer to the oppressors, which is a load of crap. It's just such a backwards reductionist view of things, and I can't believe that in 2019 a film like that got made, but Then again, considering the current political climate, I'm really not surprised at this point. On a more technical level, the film is perfunctory. The script is mediocre at best. The soundtrack is also not very good. It had the audacity to use Queen Bitch by David Bowie, and that movie did not earn that at all. Oh, another thing about the movie is that once C.P. Ellis decides to be for integration and tears up his KKK card, he's apparently no longer racist, which isn't really how it works. He's grown up his entire life having these racist ideologies and, holding negative stereotypes and views on, people that aren't white. And apparently those all magically go away now. That's not how that works. You have to unteach yourself those things. I don't really have anything else to say about this movie. It's not good. People are watching it and they're liking it because it's a feel-good movie and it doesn't make them think too hard about racism, much like Green Book. Rather reductionist. I don't recommend it. I'm giving it a D-. Last up, we got Shazam, and finally, a good movie. This is the latest film from DC Comics, and it kind of fits into their DCEU, which has kind of been dead in the water since Justice League's failure. I was really pulling for this one. Shazam is one of my top 5 DC characters, and I gotta say, I am pleasantly surprised by this film. I wasn't expecting too much. The trailers kind of sold it as something completely different. I was still going to see it. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, zany would be the word, but there's a lot of heart to this film. The characters are really well developed. It's very true to the source material. I was not expecting to see Mr. Mind in there, which was a really nice surprise. That was a pretty deep cut for references. There's just a lot of heart to this film. I don't know what else to say. It's funny. The cinematography is perfunctory, but the true strength of this film comes from Zachary Levi's performance, his relationship with Freddy, actually Billy's relationship with Freddy as well, because they both play off each other very nicely. The family dynamic is very strong. There's a lot of great themes going on in here. I'm not saying it's like Citizen Kane or anything, but in terms of superhero films, it's refreshing and it's engaging and fun to watch, and it left me with a big smile on my face, and I really want to go watch it again. I know I say this a lot, but I do really want to go watch this again because I had such a great time with it, and I think that if this is the direction that DC wants to keep going, then I'm all in for it. The key to watching this movie, though, is to remember that Shazam is just kind of always been a goofy concept, and it really plays up the wish fulfillment aspect of superheroes, because that's really what Shazam was created to be. It was a wish fulfillment character, where a kid gets these powers and all of a sudden he's Earth's mightiest mortal. That's important to remember going into this movie. I don't really have major problems with this film, maybe like a couple small things that I would have tweaked here and there, but overall, I really loved this film, and I'm so glad that a wider audience is getting introduced to Shazam, because he really is a cool character, and as a big comic fan, it's so cool to be able to share kind of like a deep cut character with a wider audience and have them not only go and watch the movie, but also really enjoy it. It's kind of the same way like how 15 years ago, nobody outside of a comic store knew who Thanos was, or like Black Panther, or Vision, or Black Widow, but now they're on everybody's tongues. Everybody knows these characters now. And it's so cool as a comic fan to be able to have people that don't really read the comics know who these characters are and appreciate and like them. And that's so cool to me. I'm going to have to go ahead and give this one an A. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I'm definitely adding it to my Blu-ray collection. It's probably going to be a day one purchase for me. I might get the Steelbook depending on what that looks like. I love this movie. Zachary Levi is a treat. Go see it. Well, that's it for this episode of Cinema Corral. I will see you guys next week. So until next time, I will see you later.